Welcome back to the channel for another video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more trading content like backtesting videos, live trade breakdowns, trading psychology videos, and more. And today we're trying to backtest the previous NASDAQ week of February 24th through I think the 27th or 28th. I talked about it in my previous video about having my NASDAQ weekly trading preparation. You need to backtest the previous week and just fine tune what you could have done better. And it just helps me. I like to backtest the previous week because it helps me dial my eyes in and get ready for the upcoming week. So I just want to go ahead and backtest it. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm looking at this part. I'm going to backtest it with a fresh pair of eyes. I'm going to compare it with my journal. I know I did take a few trades on Monday, but it does look a little different from what I remember. I think this part and this part is different from at least the broker that I traded in. I think it went up and then came back down and retested this area, then came back down a little more, but I'll double check with my journal soon. But looking at this with a fresh pair of eyes, looking at this area right here is a point of interest. Pretty similar, I think. At least a similar concept to what I was looking at last Monday. And I took a buy in this area. It ended up being a loss, but looking at it, I think it's just been a valid loss looking at it here. And I have my steps I'm going to be testing. I'm going to talk through them a little bit for the first few trades, and I'm just going to try to apply it and not really explain too much. I just want to get through this video kind of fast. I don't want it to be too long. But here are the steps I'm looking for. Mitigation of a higher time frame area of interest, being preferably a New York session or Asian session. Hopefully it'll be a little bit, I want to test out a little bit before New York session 2, like 7:30 a.m. trades, like around that area. And then I'm looking for the lower time frame entry as well. Hopefully it's within the macro. If not, it's still fine. It's still valid, I think. So just going to test that out too. So looking at this higher time frame area of interest, you see that it sweeps this liquidity here. It breaks a swing high and it leaves some imbalance as well as this order block here to be mitigated. So looking for that to be mitigated, and it came back to this area and did it. I'm on the 15 minutes. Let's go to the 1 minute. It's for my lower time frame entry. This would be New York session because it's at, you see it's at 8 o'clock in that time frame too. Well, if it's past 8:30, so it mitigated this at around 9:27. So let's see if we can get an entry. And I know I actually took an entry at this area last week, so it just looks different on this broker. This is not the broker. This is probably some brokers that I want to actually analyze or trade on. So this looks a tad different because from here it looks like I'm not getting an entry, but it's a little strange. So yeah, it's looking just like I don't get an entry there, at least on this broker. I know I did on Monday. I'm going to compare my actual journal and confirm. So yeah, I took an entry around 9:40-ish, 9:48-ish. So maybe it's lower, yeah. So I guess it was based off of something like this. It came up and broke this, then gave me my entry model. But it's looking like it just doesn't form on this broker, at least. I know sometimes the candles change after the fact, so maybe that's just what happened in this. It is kind of strange because it is also just formed different on the higher time frame as well, in the 15 minute in this area as well. So yeah, it's just strange. I guess there's no trade on this broker, we'll say, but it's all good. On to the next one. I know there was a few more trades that presented itself that Monday, I believe. Like this would have been an area of interest right here, this buy area. It's the same concept, sweeps the liquidity for this higher time frame interest or area of interest. Sweeps this low, swing low, breaks this swing high, leaves some imbalance in this order block, and you see it's mitigated right here. So once it's mitigated, we can go to lower time frame on 12:15. It's not an ideal time for traders because it's during that lunch hour, so we'll see. Right there. Yeah, I do remember this Monday pretty clearly. I actually did not take this trade, but looking at it with a fresh pair of eyes, it's still valid. I think I talked about it in a previous video too. Could have set, I want to test out setting my entries, not this high, so I want to test out setting lower entries for better risk to reward. And if that's the case, I probably wouldn't have even taken it because it would have already hit my take profit that I'm thinking about. So I still would have been valid interest, didn't take it. You could have entered it up here. I just personally didn't. So now I kind of remember Monday pretty vaguely, or pretty strongly actually. So I know I was looking for this imbalance here to be mitigated as well up here, and on a 30 minute as well, because I know that I counted this area as a strong swing high, or it swept this swing high, broke the swing low and the swing low, left a lot of imbalance, and on 30 minutes there's a lot of imbalance in this area with these 3 candle pushes. I wanted to consolidate it as well and just put the 30-minute imbalance as well. So once it got into this area, I was generally just looking for sells. And we see that I get a sell opportunity up here. Looking at this accumulation that manipulates to the upside, sweeps its liquidity, breaks to the downside, leaves a lot of imbalance. And I do remember I entered in up here, like right at this candle. And looking now that I'm trying to refine, I'll probably just enter in, I'd say at latest, this candle here. Just want a lower entry point just so my take profit and stop loss can be smaller, and just want a small range of a trade. So if that's the case, let's see. Set my fibs here. Probably would have set entry or take profit right in 3.5 standard deviations. So yeah, it would have been a winning trade, so I guess I can count that as a win. So yeah, my real trade that I took, since I entered down here, the take profit was a little lower. I think it was around this area, and it just didn't hit, kind of reversed on me. But it's all good because I know that I took this continuation as well. And I'm looking at it, this is still very valid. It just came back to it is lower, but still a very valid continuation. In real time, I do remember I took this trade as well as a continuation, but looking back, if I would have set my entry at a lower point, I probably wouldn't have taken this one at all, just because I was waiting or anticipating it to still push back up and tag this entry in. So moving forward, that's probably what I'm going to do, just go for the lower entrances, just so I can have a better risk to reward and stop loss area and take profit area, so it can be a quicker trade hopefully. So yeah, this was another valid trade, a valid continuation here. Pretty clean, not too long of a trade. Only about 20 minutes, so yeah, that's another winning trade there. So it should be probably 2 wins and 1 loss. I don't know why it still hasn't formed, or why it didn't form up here. I guess the brokerage is different, or very different from the one I actually analyzed on. And looking at it, I think there was a few more trades that might have formed. At least we can look at this macro and see. So looking at this macro, it's not as clean, but I guess you could have taken this trade. I don't think I would have, because overall I still wanted to push up into this 15-minute area. I'm anticipating it to push up higher, and then like I said, since I already do remember backtesting this area a little bit, and on Monday it was I remember pretty strongly. I did remember that this trade is actually, the buy is going to push up to that area, so that would have been a valid buy move. It's just I wanted to go for the lower entry, so I remember that's like kind of the reasoning why it pushed up some more. This probably could have been a valid side. I just don't think I would have taken it just for that reason, but we can still mark it up. Just could have put take profit there. Use this to the accumulation. See all this liquidity being swept and pushing down, imbalance there. Let's see, for take profit, maybe it would have been just it would have been a win, 2.5 standard deviations. So yeah, I think let's see let it play out, because this session closed. I think it reversed after session closed. So yeah, it would have been a valid loss. I mean, it's a valid trade. I'll go ahead and count it as a loss. It's valid. I mean, I just feel wise, I probably just wouldn't take it, but it's a valid trade. It's counted as a loss. And I think we're going to see price push up to that higher 15-minute area. Let's see. I don't think I would have traded Asian Cheston that night, just because it was not in the cleanest area yet. Yeah, that is strange. So it's kind of like Monday didn't really happen for this broker almost. Yeah, it's strange. I'm not sure why. It's like almost counting this as Tuesday. I don't know. Maybe something was off. But yeah, that's pretty much how Monday went. Let me review my journal and compare. Let me see. So yeah, Monday, I guess Monday's just going to be off, I guess. Let me see. Oh, maybe I started. Actually, I didn't rewind too far enough. So let's go back just to Monday really quick. I think I took 1 trade on Monday. Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, I got my session wrong. So yeah, Monday, let's go like the New York session will start around here. I can replay it for, farther actually. So looking at this order block to be mitigated here, we already said that this imbalance was, oops. So yeah, we can see that it's pretty straightforward, or the same type of routine, same concepts we're looking for. So for the higher time frame area of interest, looking for sweep liquidity, sweeping that swing low here, then it breaks to the upside, breaking these swing highs, leaves us imbalance and has some order blocks with it, and then it just comes back and mitigates it. So I'm looking for the area of interest. I just want you guys to kind of see the same process and consistency with it. And then I'm looking for it to come back and mitigate it, which I guess I might have, I don't want to say I took it early, but ideally I wanted to go for the 15-minute, but I think I actually ended up going for this 30-minute one in real time, if I remember my journal correctly. So in real time, if I'm backtesting now, I wouldn't have taken this trade because I'm waiting for the 15-minute to be hit. But I think I kind of just said, okay, I'm going for the 30-minute one because it's consolidated a little bit better. This is the 30-minute. And I saw that it mitigated this one as the higher order block, I should say. But I guess that comes down to just how you refine, because I know some people refine order blocks to the very last one, so it still would have been like this one regardless from 30-minute. Or in the 15-minute would have been this one still. So it just kind of depends how you kind of refine order blocks. So with that one, now I'm seeing the trade that I took on that Monday. And I still think it's just a valid loss, even backtesting now, I think it's just a valid loss. I could have waited for the 15-minute to be hit and mitigated, and probably could have had a little more patience just because it is Monday. The session just started, the week just started, so I still think it's just a valid loss. But yeah, just you can have patience, sit this one out, and let it play out, or just take it. It's part of it. It just comes with it. So that would have been a valid loss, just counted as a loss too. Then we see with this push down, it's giving us a lot of imbalance, and then it's going to come back and be another area of interest for us because it's sweeping all this liquidity here. It's imbalance. Sweeping all this liquidity here. Then we see a break to the downside, breaking a lot of swing lows. And then we'll play it out, let it mitigate to that area again. So yes, same kind of concept. I have this 15-minute one marked up, but you can see all these three big bullish candles again. I'd probably want to consolidate with them 30-minute, and that's what I kind of did. And said, okay, this huge area of imbalance here can be all played within and caught for a sell. So that's what I did. I went down to lower time frame. Let's see, this is in the 30 minutes, so it's valid for a sell at any time once it touched this. And I didn't take this just because I was on the road. So this probably could have been a valid loss here. Actually, let me see. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't think I would have took it just because now that I'm refining how I take my entries. I would have wanted some imbalance to happen within the accumulation zone, and we're not really seeing that. So I wouldn't have taken it. Like if you could have set your entry here, but I wouldn't have taken it because I wanted to be more precise with my entries. So I would have took this one. Let's say mark it up because this looks like it's valid. Plus it's also within the macro, so. This is a trade I for sure would have took, and I think I know I actually took this one as well, looking at the time. And then I think it was set here in real time, but looking at this broker, at least this broker is strange, so not sure why some of these brokers vary so much on some of their data points. So looking at it, it could have been a valid loss, but I know in real time, looking at my journal again, I know that this was actually supposed to be a win. In a different broker, the take profit was different. It was at the 1.5 standard deviations level, and you can see you get slightly tagged in right there. It's slightly above this imbalance. You get slightly tagged in right there, maybe even right here. It just depends on the broker and the spreads. But yeah, it's looking like it's just showing different on this broker for some reason. Because this was a valid win. It actually hit take profit, you can see here, but it's just a different level and it shows a different amount of like pips and risk for some reason. Maybe I had a smaller stop loss like this. Let me look at my journal and compare. Because it did hit take profit. I was just on the go and I wasn't able to capitalize on it because I set my take profit down at the wrong level at this 2-level standard deviation. And I was just on the go. I wasn't able to double check and compare and mark it up on different brokers and see. So yeah, that was my fault. Yeah, you can see it did hit take profit. I did use this one level for this swing high as my stop loss. So yeah, it just comes. That was a mistake, but this is a valid win. I'm going to count this as a win because It has all the confluences. Was inside the macro. Every confluence I wanted happened, and it went through. It's just I didn't execute right. But looking back, it's still a valid. It's a valid win. So then looking at this area, it's still valid for sales because it's pushing up higher into the area. It's still valid, but overall, still looking for the push up here. But we'll see if we get another sell. I would take this sell here. It sucks it's within the lunch hour, but I'm working on just testing out every scenario, even if it's not the most opportune hour, we'll say, or time, we'll say. And this one will be a close one if it does win, but I also want to figure out how I can limit my trades. I don't like taking too many trades in a day. This would have been the third trade of the day, and considering it's only the lunch hour, it could be like one or two more than the PM session, so we'll see. Maybe that's just not the way to go. Maybe I just need to take every valid trade. So yeah, this looks like this would have been a win too as well, even though it is during the lunch hour, but still would have been a win, so we'll count it. Maybe I'll start trading just every time I see it this week, and not just trade like during specific AM or PM session parts. And then looking at this macro here, looks like we could have had a trade in a larger sense right here, but it looks like we could have had this trade right here as well. A smaller range trade is always better to me because it's easier for it to run and hit take profit or hit stop loss quicker, and you just want to be in and out of the trades and not let it fluctuate or have news come in and impact or anything like that. So this is the more ideal trade for me, at least. And yeah, it looks like this was a win. But I went for 3 standard deviations here. I know it sucks. It would have popped back up once your entry, but you just gotta hold your trades, trust your analysis, and it would have went through. So, and that's what, 3 wins and 1 loss I could have had on Monday, and then probably this is only 2 o'clock, so I probably have 1 more trade opportunity somewhere, probably in the last macro, because you easily could have taken this right here. But I'm not going to mark it up for now, just leave it. I think I marked it in previous backtesting, but yeah, it looks like this could have been an entry right here. Because I just want to take this one because I would take this because it's more of a confluence with it being inside the macro. Seeing that accumulated here, all these inside bars, swept to the upside, broke down, and then let this imbalance here, so the entry would be there. And I can already see that it's hit take profit, so this would have been a winning trade as well. So yeah, Monday could have been a solid day looking at it now. Just, I guess, focus on taking every valid trade. I know this will be a little continuation, but yeah, this was a very clean trade, this one. And you see it's pushing down and reacting to that area, so I guess it's another strong confluence. So yeah, these would have been a little more iffy, but still valid, so I just got to work on taking every valid trade. See that it's still working its way down, let it play out. I think that was it for the day. And we've already done Tuesday, so yeah, at this point I know I've explained, at least on process, a little bit, so I'll probably just go through and try to mark up Wednesday and Thursday and Friday really fast so we can make this video a little shorter. I know it's going to be a little bit of a long video. Just want you guys to kind of highlight the consistency and what you got to apply your own process and checklist. So let's see. Got a New York session start right here. Still in this area, so I guess it would be valid to look for sells here, but I'm overall still want to look for it to touch this imbalance or this order block here. But let's see, it's still in session, so I'll see what plays out. So let's see. Let's take another look at the analysis because I know I was rushing to that. Yeah, so overall, let's see. This could be an area of interest because it sweeps this liquidity here. Then it breaks to the upside, breaking that swing high, leaves the imbalance. Let me see, push the upside. I see him sweep liquidity here, breaking this swing low, so this would be a valid area of interest. This is before session, I know, but still valid. Like I said, I'm going to test that out and really try to take opportunities like that this week. So yeah, it's tagged into that area. Looks like we might get an entry. There's the entry. Actually, I don't know why. Maybe it showed different on this broker, but I think I saw this before and marked it up, and it showed like that. Let's see. Yeah, that would have been an entry, or that would have been. That looks it's a little more difficult to see on this broker. Let me mark this swing low out better. Yeah, this was a little bit of swing high, so it's good accumulation, a lot of inside bars, at least two, but yeah, and then set and take profit. It's easy to see it just went through. There's a lot of bearish momentum right there. Then we see outside we're probably at 3 standard deviations. I guess 2.5 would work. Yeah, 2.5 would work, and then yeah, that's a valid win. And that's a good thing we already marked the other area of interest up, because you can see that's probably something it wants to head towards. So maybe in instances like this, you can leave a run and say, okay, I know it's going to probably head towards this area, sweep this liquidity, and tag this area. So let it play out. Yeah, so maybe it wouldn't have worked in a runner sense as well, but you can at least understand why it would have head towards this area. So now it's at 9:15. Let's see if we can get a buy from that area or not. Tagged into this area, then let's see. So yeah, it's looking like you could have had a valid buy potentially here. I wouldn't have taken this one because I just don't like being in the market for the 9:30 candle. And yeah, you see what happens directly at 9:30 would have shot down and been a loss. So I'm just marking this up for the sake of marking it up, but I wouldn't have taken that one, so I'm not going to count that as a win or a loss. And then we see here, after the 9:30 though, I see that this is a valid setup. I did notice this last week in real time that this did go through, but it is after the 9:30 candle. I guess you used a few 9:30 candle in the minutes after it to form this accumulation and then sweep below it and then form this setup for us. So I would say this might be valid to take because it's after the candle, so you see all this liquidity or the price do what it does at market open, then it reacts to it and then it forms a trade setup. So maybe this is valid to take as opposed to right before. Maybe you can take it right after if it sets up. So maybe I'll do that or try that out going forward at least one time at least. Maybe they'll set up this week. We'll see what happens. And then we'll set entry, I think 4 standard deviations, at least for this broker. It's looking a little strange. I'll have to go back to my other brokers and charts and compare. See, it's in another area of interest though. I think, yeah, it's a little tricky as I'm looking at this area of interest as well. You see it sweeps this high right here and then breaks to the downside and then forms imbalance and gets here while it's in that buy. But I necessarily wouldn't have tried to take a trade there because you're already in the buy. I don't like really hedging, so I wouldn't have taken a trade there. Plus, you also you wanted to push up higher to this area of imbalance as well, so probably would have just sat that out and just held the buy. I don't like taking the hedge moves. You would just have to sit it out. So let's see if this buy goes through or not. Yeah, it went through, so it would have been a valid win. It's still a little sketchy with being right after 9:30, but it's looking like it's valid because it's after that candle. So let's see. I think that was it for Wednesday. Let me go and compare my journal to Wednesday. Actually, it's not. I've had another opportunity here. Let's see. Yeah, PM session too. So let's go and compare the rest of this Wednesday session. So yeah, let's see. Actually, let's see. Looking at my journal, I had an opportunity. I guess for me, the sell still is valid for this area until it breaks this swing high, like completely breaks above it, not just like a wick. It has to break above it completely. So looking at it, I took a sell after this win happened. I guess I know I didn't jump in this one because it's like right after 9:30. So, but looking at it, I did take a sell right here actually. Really quick trade, was really valid. You can mark it like that. A lot of inside bars, a lot of accumulation there. And I remember this trade was a really quick trade, it was like 3 minutes long, maybe 2 minutes. So I believe that was my parameters. Yeah, set it at 2 standard deviations. And yeah, that was pretty much it. It was a 2-minute trade, in and out. Really solid move. Was in the area of interest. So yeah, it all comes back to just taking every valid setup that I can. And yeah, it's even better because it happens And once this buy move is finished, because now I'm seeing that you could see how someone would have taken an entry based off of this accumulation of this move here. Once it kind of pushed down to the downside, could say, okay, accumulated there, broke down, probably would have set an entry at least here or here. Either way, that would have been a loss, so I'll mark that up as a loss too. Even though that's just assuming I wasn't in this buy, I would have taken. I'll mark it up as a loss. Yeah, TP would have been somewhere down there, so take that as a loss. Keep marking it up. And I think it was one more trade opportunity. Like now I'm seeing this as a potential area of interest up here. Now that swept this liquidity, broke to the downside completely. All those swing lows being broke. You got an order block here, and then this imbalance. So I'd want price to return to this higher time frame 15-minute area, but let's go on 30, see if we can consolidate with all this bearish pressure again. So yeah, we'll let it play out. Okay, it returns to that area right towards session end. That's at least in the 15 minutes. Let's see. I will say maybe I should start marking my order blocks again for the back testing session. So I'm looking at this order block here, and it does mitigate this. So this is definitely the opportunity when it pulls back to this area, which is why I kind of gravitated towards doing it, or doing my current confluences like this, because it helps me with a lot of directional bias and understanding where price wants to target and react to. So we can see here, this is probably a 30-minute order block. Yeah, clean 30-minute order block there. Probably can go lower for the 15-minute, and you see it's a little more accurate with how it gets tagged. But either way, I think there's still a valid to play off both of them. So let's see what it gave on the 1 minute. Definitely could have probably played off entry right here in this area. Even though this might be invalid because it might have already hit take profit. And once it hits take profit from my orders, I just delete them. So let's see. This would have been the accumulation here. Yeah, it is kind of close. This is one of the things where I guess the brokers kind of depend, but I guess this could have been a valid win right here. So yeah, I marked it up as a win. See, it plays out and goes through. Maybe I could have set entry up here. I do like going for lower entries, but I guess since it's valid because the accumulation zone is still being respected with here, so it would have been a higher entry, but it's okay. It looks like it still played out. Probably going for 2.5 standard deviation on a different one, but either way, going for this one as well. You want to be as accurate as possible, but this broker is a little different, so it still played out regardless, so it's all good with that. Probably would have set it at the lower one just to be out a little sooner, but I guess it played out around 4:20ish, so before the day ended completely, so it's okay. Mark that as a win too. So Wednesday was a busy day, or could have been a busy day. 5 trades, 4 wins, 1 loss. Still looks like a pretty good overall week. It's a lot of trades, but it's all good. It's a high win percentage, so it plays out in your favor. I don't think I've seen any Asian session trades or any time that where the area of interest has formed during Asian session, so nothing for us really to test there. At least not for this week. I've definitely seen it in the previous 2 weeks before this one. And yeah, this is just too close to line in session, so if it would have formed during this, I probably wouldn't have taken it. So yeah, maybe we can see something here maybe for a buy move. Let's see. So yeah, same concept, sweeps that liquidity, comes back, mitigated, breaks that swing high right here, mitigates that imbalance that it leaves. So yeah, let's see if we can get a play off this. This is right at Asian session, or like at least the end part. I like to do it 7 through 9. At least in my time zone, I do 7 through 9. So yeah, I think after 9, I just kind of call it quits or just leave the Asian session alone. So let's see. Maybe it could have. It gets a little tricky with how you want to mark it up or here, because you potentially could have had an entry here and it could have been a valid trade. So just kind of depends on how you mark it up. I guess just looking at it and having a feel for my strategy, I would have said you could have entered in here, and this would have been a loss right here, a valid loss here once it tags into this area. They saw this accumulation here. And then this one, the other one's like a 15. Looks like it's like a 15-second time frame trade. Just kind of have to go by basically like this inside candle, this swing low, swing high right here. So looks like it's been a clean It's a 15-second trade, but I probably wouldn't have actually taken this because it leaves the imbalance here, but it doesn't have the imbalance before it breaks the. Well, actually, I probably would have actually, because it's just a wick break, and then it comes back, and then it has a really clean break, then leaves the imbalance. So maybe I actually would have taken that, because I've seen a similar trade scenario like that. Because this is probably a little cleaner, maybe on the 2-minute or something like that. So I guess I would have taken this one, and that would have been your win. So I had taken a trade like that before, so it is valid. So I would have went for about 3 standard deviations. This one would have been a loss, so I didn't mark it up yet. But it would have been take profit would have been somewhere around there. But that's 1 loss, 1 win. So if I did Asian session that night, it would have came on top. So yeah, it's not the worst thing to trade Asian session with how I'm trading now. So I'm definitely gonna incorporate it going forward. So I probably would have called it a night there because it's 9 o'clock. Yeah, it's about session's about pretty much over at that point. So then on to the next day, got high impact news at 8:30. It's pulled back higher into this 15-minute imbalance like I wanted it to. So did that during London session as well. So yeah, it's pulled up. Here's the time you probably get like a trade set up at 7:30 because it's still pushing up higher, but it's still valid because it's not really broken above these highs. So I'm still counting it valid for sales. So let's look and see what we can get. Yeah, I've already seen this entry. So yeah, this doesn't sweep this liquidity. So yeah, just take entry there. Would have been hit or tagged in here. Probably could have used this. I'm working on taking more aggressive entries as well. So I guess that's why I used that for my stop loss instead of this, the high of this range right here. So yeah, let's see. And that's just because I want to get a better risk to reward and have a shorter take profit range because it's easier to be hit like this. And it was, I guess, high impact news that probably drove this. Yeah, they drove a wick like that down. So it worked out in that favor. So it would have been a valid win there. Let's see. And no sweeps liquidity there. Looks like we could have got a London session trade right there, maybe, but I don't trade London session, so I'm not going to backtest that part. But yeah, it looks like it played out based on the same confluences. This could have been an area of interest right here, but this is 9:30, but it looks like it just kind of shot right through and didn't really give an entry, just kind of gave a small reaction, but it is still a valid area, or was a valid area. And it shot through, and it looks like we get another area of interest with this sweeps liquidity here. And then we get this imbalance here, so we want price to return up here. And looking back, I don't know if I have it marked up on this broker, but looking at least in my journal, I think I marked up something that reacts to over here. Let's see if I can zoom in really quick and see it. You know, this video's getting kind of long. I want to wrap it up soon, so I think I marked up or had it reflect to either one of these order blocks, or like, I'm pretty sure it was like this order block I wanted to say I had price reacting to. So I ended up taking a buy here, looking at my journal. Ended up taking a buy. I would say, yeah, based on this area right here, seeing this slight accumulation here, sweeping down, getting all that liquidity, tapping into that order block, and then it breaks above slat with this wick and then taps back into it. So took a buy here, did end up holding it for a while. Did suck. I was trying to make it go higher into this area, but it didn't at that point. So I know this was a valid loss. So yeah, went for a 2.5 standard deviation. I wanted to push into this area, or at least be the reason that, or the movement that pushed into the area because of that. But ended up playing around a lot and didn't just consolidate. Came back to entry, consolidated a lot. So I know it's a valid loss. So you can see it just barreled to the downside, and then gave us another entry. Actually, gave us another opportunity, which I think we're playing off of now in live time on this Monday now. So you have some area of interest right here based on the 15-minute sweep this liquidity. Same thing. See, it breaks to the downside, break all these swing lows, consolidate in the 30-minute just because that's a lot of bearish pressure and that's a lot of imbalances. So you can see that maybe, okay, once it returns here, it'll give us an opportunity as well. Let's go to the 15-minute, let it play out. Because yeah, that's pretty much the end of the Thursday. I didn't take any more moves that day, and I'm not really seeing any more opportunities with how I'm currently trading, where I would have took another move at. And let's compare my Friday journal. I think I took maybe one trade Friday. Looks like we could have had a potential Asian session trade here, so let me go back, actually, looking at it a little closely. Seeing the same type of concept, sweeps a swing low or swing high here. Oops, we'll actually mark the imbalance up first and then. Sweeps a swing high here, both of these swing highs. Breaks the swing low here. I guess it forms different, maybe it didn't form my broker, I just missed it. Breaks the swing low, then forms this imbalance here, and then we saw it was tapped into this area here. So maybe it gave an entry. Let's see in 1 minute. Yeah, I guess not, because yeah, just kind of tapped into it, then rejected off strongly. So no entry there. It's all good. Just move on to the next trade. Let me see on Friday morning. This is the 8:30 news. And yeah, it looks like we could have got potentially a sell here. I think this is the actual trade I took, maybe. So we're seeing the same type of concept. Suits a swing high, breaks below this, leaves some imbalance. So yeah, leaves the order blocks as well. So yeah, I can replay into this and see if it gave us an entry. Yeah, actually I do remember this. I think I missed this trade actually. So yeah, it could have been entry like this, I believe. Let's see that play out a little more, a few more candles. There we go. Yeah, broke down. Entry would have been here. Could have set my one. Let's test it out. More aggressive entry, setting it above that swing high, seeing what happens. Let's get the fib out. For about 2 standard deviations. Let's let it play out. So yeah, it's looking like the aggressive entries work out more oftentimes than not. So I guess it's just valid to take those. Maybe had a continuation, yeah, here potentially. Potentially here. I mean, I would have liked to go for the higher imbalance, but I'll just mark up one win for this one because I would have taken this one. I don't like taking too many continuations, but yeah, it would have been a valid win there. That's you're mostly just waiting for it to pull back into this area, which I think it did towards the end of the day. So yeah, pulled up there, done session end. So I'll go ahead and wrap the video up here. I know it was a little longer. Looks like we might have had a valid area here, but this is during London session. So yeah, it's still valid trades, or a lot of valid trades. So we'd have had, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wins, 12 wins, and 1, 2, 3, I missed that one, 4, so like 12 out of 16, so like 75% win percentage. It's pretty good, pretty solid week, a lot of trades, but they're all valid. So I'll go ahead and wrap the video up here. Could have been a solid week, just nice to refine and see what I could have done differently, compare it with my journal. And yeah, let's have a better trading week this week. See you guys next video. Make sure you like and subscribe, check out the other content, and I'll see you guys then.